Hello, and welcome to Message in the Middle with Marianne. We all know that life is hard, right? It's messy, it's unpredictable, but it can be wonderful all at the same time. My hope is that we can take a deep dive into self-development topics and explore life's lessons through book clubs, conversations, and interviews. And together, we can uncover the lessons that others have already learned to help us navigate this crazy, wonderful ride called life. Hello and welcome to Message in the Middle, where we explore the messy, beautiful, and transformative seasons of midlife that challenge us to stretch and to ultimately help us become who we are meant to be. Today, we're diving into a conversation about reinvention, resilience, and the healing power of creativity. My guest, Nikki Allen, knows what it means to rebuild from the inside out. Her latest book, Loved You, Hated You, is a raw and emotionally charged novel that's resonating with readers for its honesty and its heart. What began as a song became a screenplay and eventually a work of fiction inspired by real-life heartbreak. Nikki wrote this story after an emotionally abusive relationship, the kind that steals your laughter, replaces clarity with confusion, and leaves you piecing yourself back together in the aftermath. Through her writing, Nikki found the courage to reclaim her voice and transform her pain into art. And she's here today to talk about what it takes to find yourself again, to transform heartbreak into healing, and how women in midlife can turn their own stories into sources of strength. Nikki, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, your story really resonates, I think, with a lot of people because they can relate to it. So I want to start right there with the book and the story that unfolded there, because you said the book isn't about bashing your ex, but it's about talking about how we lose ourselves sometimes trying to keep love alive, or, trying to make something seem like it's not because we want it so badly. I'm so curious, what helped you start to recognize that you sort of got lost in there? Like, was there a pivotal moment where you sort of woke up to what was going on with yourself?
Well, I think this is with anyone in those kind of relationships. You should probably not be in it, right? But we make all the excuses and they come with I'm not doing it again, or the flout, whatever their thing is that held you in the first place and is keeping you. You don't want to lose that. But for me, I had this friend, and every time he'd do something, I'd go to her, because she's my friend. I'm telling her.
Yeah.
And she was married. She was pregnant at the time. So she, and she was a little older than me. So she had all this wonderful advice. And so I think this went on for months. He did this and woe is me. And oh my God. And can you believe? And finally she said to me, she goes, you really love this guy. I get that. She says, but he doesn't treat you right. You know that. I give you all the advice in the world. You don't take it. So I don't want to talk about him anymore.
Oh,
When you're ready to leave, then we can talk about it. And I didn't leave right away. It was 7 years, past that. But it did open my eyes to every time I opened my mouth, it was a complaint. It wasn't about how wonderful he was. It was always about, can you believe he did this? Or what should I do? Or, oh my God. So that was, I think, the first ping I had to go, yeah, if I can't talk to her about this, then, there's something going on. So I did a deep dive, what I call soul surgery, to figure out, how did I even end up in this mess? Because anyone that knows me then, now, ever, I'm a very strong person. My dad, his thing about me was, and I don't know if I can curse on your
you
show,
can,
can
you can.
I? He would always say, Nikki, don't take no shit. And so the fact that I'm taking all this shit was very puzzling for people. So I really, and for me too, because how did strong Nikki, I don't take bullshit. Like, how am I in this situation, just being emotionally every day, just beat down, and 3 or 4 physical fights? So, I mean, he's chased me with a gun.
Wow.
Yeah, I there is so much, which the fiction story her abuse is not as bad as mine was, but abuse is abuse, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I went through all of this, and if I'm honest, I think some of it was kind of exciting in a way. And I'll say it like this: I'm from an affluent neighborhood. I was very sheltered. So I didn't see those kinds of dynamics that was like on TV. So it was kind of, and my parents, I've never heard them argue. I've never heard them fight. I've never seen them fight. Nobody's putting hands on each other. You know, they shouldn't have been together though, that's for sure. But however they handled it, it wasn't in front of us kids. So to be talked, it was almost like, wow, like there was some kind of dang, this is happening. Like it was kind of exciting, if I must say, you know?
I think a lot of people get sucked into and almost, I hate to use the word addicted, but almost addicted to the drama of the situation, the highs and the lows, right? Because
Mhm.
I've heard
Yeah.
other people say the highs are really, really good. When it's good, it's really good.
It is great.
Yeah, some of the best that you probably ever had, but when it's not, it's that low. I mean,
It's the worst. It's the worst.
yeah, I've heard that from other
Yeah.
people. So I'm curious about you kind of let this play out or a version of this play out through a song first and then the screenplay and then the book.
Mhm.
Do you feel like reliving it for each of those different formats helped you heal, or do you think it hurt, or do you think it was like once I did the first one, it was whatever? Like, was there a difference between the different formats for you?
There was not because the character is Gabby and it was such her story,
Hmm.
as opposed to mine. The thing that connects Gabby and I are the emotional aspects of it, of what she went through. I am a writer that, when people go through things, they're like, oh my God, this is so painful. I have to write. I have to write. I have to write. I'm the opposite. I can't write anything while I'm in it. I'm almost incapacitated. So it's not until I come through and can look back, then I can write about it. So
Hmm.
the actual lyrics to the song goes, I loved you. I hated you. Now I'm releasing you.
Mm.
So that's the third component of that. I wrote it from a place of release, not actually in the bullshit, if you will. Yeah, so when I wrote the song, that was about me. But then as I listened to the song, I got this character and the whole thing. Like, what would it have been like had, you know, had we had different players? And so in the book, there's a guy that comes and he's trying to rescue her, but she's so stuck in this. But I just wanted to kind of explore. But I really wanted to show why people stay because this guy she's with is gorgeous. He's successful. When he's good, he's great, right?
Yeah.
So, we show his vulnerability. We talk about what he's been through so you can kind of see the entire dynamic because what people usually see is, oh my God, that guy's a creep to you. You should just leave.
Yeah.
That sounds like a simple equation, but it really isn't.
It's so interesting because when I hear you talk about, and you added in the release element, but I was going to ask you because I've been trying to think about how you've made space for this duality of love, hate, or love and anger, like all that, the opposite position on all of it.
Hmm.
And you healed, even just talking about it, you healed by writing that journey. I think some of it, you're looking backwards, but it sounds like by being able to explore, sort of alternate endings or alternate twists to the story,
Hmm.
you had to be able to sort of process your own feelings through some of that, right? So how have you made space for both things? Because I think sometimes people struggle with that. It's sort of a finite, I love this person or I hate this person. I love the situation or I hate this person, but it can be both.
It can be both. Well, they say it's a thin line between love and hate, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's that. But ironically or not, he and I are still friends today.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm in my 50s and this all happened when I was 21.
Mm,
So, it is what it is. We don't talk as much as we used to, but yeah, we're still in contact. I think I talked to him maybe a couple months ago.
wow. Wow.
Hmm. Yeah, so there's no hate, but I'm all about forgiveness. And if we want to talk about loved you, hated you, that goes to my ex-husband, actually. No book about him yet. That was going to be called Oh No, He Didn't, because yes, he did. But that was the first time that I had ever really experienced hatred. Like I hated him. Oh my God, I never really hated this guy. It was like I hated him in that moment. I hated him in those times. But at the end of the day, I really loved him. My ex-husband, no, that was sheer hate. And that energy, I had never experienced it before. And it really was a journey to forgive him, to get out of that. And what, my son's 18. So it's been an 18-year journey to really release him. So, yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit because I know I have a few listeners who are sort of starting on their own path to reinvention and to sort of step away from a relationship, a marriage, or whatever. There's a few scenarios in my mind that I'm thinking about. And you know better than anybody how difficult that can be. And sometimes it almost feels like it's just too much. It's just the space in between, if you will, from what was to what will be. That's probably the hardest space. Even once you walk out of it, it might get harder for a little bit until you reinvent, right? Talk to us a little bit about that and what you would say, something you might recommend to people that are in that spot of kind of just getting past something, but not quite where they need to go.
And that is such a hard place. And for me, it was harder because he had created so much financial damage everywhere I turned. Even though the marriage had been over, I'm still facing it 18 years later, right? So that space in between is really, really
Mm.
difficult. But I had to not only forgive him, but I had to forgive myself because I saw the red flags before I married him, right? So for me, it was taking accountability that some of this is kind of my doing as well. But I also am a very spiritual person, and I believe everything on our journey is meant for us. It helps us get stronger and to go on to the next. So that's kind of how I'm able to be resilient, if you will, is just knowing that there is something better. And I know that I have all this talent and I'm a good person and I'm loving and I'm nurturing. I know all these wonderful things about me. I had to start believing it again, though,
Yes.
because you lose that. They're good at making you feel like you're nothing. So you have to stand in that mirror. And I literally just started standing in the mirror maybe a year ago to go, you know what? You are beautiful. You are amazing. You can do this. So you just have to get up and look, there have been days I was just like, just take it 1 second at a time. I couldn't even do a minute, just 1 second. But the most important thing is to take that step. Even if
Yeah.
it's every second, then do it every second. If you can make it a minute, an hour, a day, whatever it is. But those micro steps lead you to the bigger steps. And you just have to keep going.
And when you talk about getting in front of the mirror and saying some of those, I'll say affirmations,
Mhm.
a lot of us sort of just roll our eyes and think, and you probably did in the past too, like it's hokey, like whatever, like that's right. Yeah. But if you force yourself to do those things, and I'm saying force on purpose because I think it is a
Yes,
forceful
you
thing.
have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it starts to shift. Your perspective definitely starts to shift after time. And then it's not such a forced thing.
Right.
It maybe is never going to be quite comfortable,
Right.
but it doesn't feel as, I don't know, alien at
Yeah.
some point. And it feels like all right, maybe I can believe this, right?
Right.
Are there other little tricks besides looking in the mirror that worked for you, that helped you?
Yeah. I started kissing myself on the hand and telling me I was
Oh,
wonderful.
I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah,
That's
and it
funny.
was, and it's really hard. Even now, that's kind of hard because you feel like, am I that arrogant? But it's like, no, I'm loving myself. But it's little things like that. Because there was a point in time I didn't realize that I had not looked in the mirror.
Yeah, that's
I hadn't
wild.
looked. And so when I started to go, you're beautiful, I would look down like I was ashamed of me. That was crazy. And as hokey as it sounds, you think, oh man, I can just go in the mirror. But when you've been through that kind of trauma, looking at you to look at yourself, that's insane. I've never had a problem looking at myself, you know. But the shift has happened because for the past, I want to say 3 months, I've seen people and they go, you look so different.
Mm,
What did you do? Did you lose weight? Is it your hair? And I know they can't place what it is, but I know what it is. I shifted into appreciating and liking myself. Those little things, but really, really, what really, really, really got me through is the soul surgery. And that was going back and asking myself, why? Why did you allow this to happen? Because people only treat you the way you allow them to treat you.
yeah.
Why am I allowing this? That's why I said with my marriage, I had to take accountability because I had to do that soul surgery in this relationship, in that relationship, and go, why did I even do that? You know, but those I think are the big steps that you can take to go, okay, I'm going to free myself from this. And it is a journey, it's a process. Give yourself some grace. It won't happen that moment.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
I think that's really great feedback. And I think whatever the scenario is, we can always take accountability because the way we react, the way we interact, whatever it is,
Mhm.
we have a part of that. And
Yes.
so I think it's worth exploring that. But I also like what you said about the ex, not your husband, but the boyfriend,
Mhm.
in that you looked at him and you were saying, like, what in the story anyway, you were saying, why did he do the things he did?
Mhm.
Because I think one of the ways that I've learned to sort of let go of things and forgive things is to just come to an understanding that maybe that person was just doing the best they can or the way they knew, or they were working with the tools or lack of tools that they had. It doesn't make it quote unquote right,
Mhm.
but at least you can put some understanding around why
Yes.
they acted like that, and you can sort of remove some of the blame, if you will, enough to let you just, I think, logically comprehend it and
Mhm.
then be able to set it aside.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we get stuck in the not being able to figure out why, like
Mhm.
why they're not a bad person. Why did they do this? Or why do they act
Mhm.
like that?
Definitely. And I really had to for both of them, I just this just pinged right now. So both of these guys that I'm telling you about, my ex-boyfriend, my ex-husband, were both adopted children,
Hmm.
and they both had situations with being adopted, right?
Hmm.
So, but absolutely what you said, it was because I told you I couldn't stand my ex. I really hated him, but it got better when I started really focusing on why he was the way he was. So I actually set out to find his biological mom because I always felt if he could just have this moment with her, I just knew something would be so much better for him. And unfortunately, we did find his siblings, but she had just passed maybe
Oh,
3 years. Yeah, 3 years before he found the family.
yeah.
And and then he died, my ex died maybe less than a year after he's found his family.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's hard too. Sometimes when you're dealing with the death, and you have had this strained relationship with somebody, it's often even more complicated because you can't get resolution and you can't have a conversation and you can't get answers to why some things happened the way they did. So again, it goes back to what you said. You have to figure out what were you accountable for, and
Right.
what role did you play in it, and try to move past it, even though you can't really resolve anything.
Yeah.
So that's so interesting. I'm curious about, in writing the book, it's not that your specific story. So it's a version. It's based loosely on your story, right?
Yeah.
Did you have any concern with, I guess what I'm wondering is, you could have hid behind that and never even said to the world, this is about me. This is just a great story
Right.
I wrote. But you've come out and said, hey, this is about me.
Hmm.
A loosely written
Yeah.
story about what I went through. So you chose not to sort of hide behind
Right.
the fiction and put yourself out there.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was that like? Did all the people around you, I mean, I know your girlfriend knew, but did everyone around you know? And could everyone sort of understand, or did you get a lot of, wow, I never even realized when the book came out?
I think people, yeah, it's more like I didn't realize. It's so funny because I didn't set out to bash him. I didn't set out to even really bring him in. It wasn't until the question was kind of asked, like, what's this about? And I'm like, that's kind of about me. Oh, wait. So, it was just kind of like, oh, yeah, I gotta say that. And it's so hilarious because we're Facebook friends, he and I, but he doesn't pop up in my feed. I'm sure I don't pop up in his. It's been, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 years since we've had communication on Facebook or where anything has popped up. When I released the book, his feed popped up on my Facebook page. It was the weirdest thing. And then maybe the next day I had posted about the book and he liked it. And I'm like, I don't know if you really want to do that. But okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but he's probably never going to read it, but should he ever hear these podcasts, he's gonna know,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute. I think that's about me. I think there's some divine intervention on that because like I said, this man has not popped up in my Facebook feed in years. And then the moment that's released, he pops up again. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
The ability to move on, forgive him, and still stay connected is really quite surprising, I guess, to me.
Yeah, it is. And people have said that to me, like, how do you still talk to him? We were 20 something, number one. He is not that same person, number two. He's been married, he has kids. We've talked about a lot of what's happened. I think we were just young and he was very, very, very immature and insecure. That's not everybody's story. There's some people that are just out there mean
Yeah.
and that way. He just really is not like that. And we actually, I was going through a divorce. He was going through a divorce. He's moved to Texas now. And I actually took my newborn baby and went to Texas as we were thinking
Wow.
about rekindling the relationship.
Wow.
Because at the end of the day, and me, and this is just me, I always see the good in everybody. I always believe there's a redemptive piece in people. I really do. And like we just talked about, if you go back to see the why are you acting like that? My aunt used to say, if they knew better, they'd do better.
Yeah.
Right. So, he grew up. He really did. He came from a great family. So it wasn't like he had problems in his background. It was just acting out. He came from a good family, both parents in the home, a house, the whole nine, but the streets looked better. So, I think he was just trying to put on that persona. That is one of the reasons why I stayed because I saw that, but I shouldn't have,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was for him to figure out,
Yeah.
not at my expense. But that was some of the reasons why. But that is why I'm able to have a conversation with him today because that was really then. We've grown in so many ways. And we like, even when he get in a relationship, we talk about his relationship. I get in a relationship, we talk about my relationship. We talked about our marriages. Like we really became friends.
Wow. I am in awe of the fact that you had that level of forgiveness to be able to get to that spot. I just, I don't know if I
Yeah.
could. So
Most
that's,
people can't. I hear that all the
yeah.
time, but I think I'm weird. So just a different
I
breed.
wouldn't say
Well,
weird.
I'm one of those people, but I will say this, within the last I'm in an amazing, beautiful relationship right now with someone. So when he entered the picture, I made the decision to completely cut off any relationship with the guy, even though he called me when we talked 2 or 3 months ago, but it wasn't the same, you know what I mean? Because I'm just not interested in
Yeah.
continuing a friendship because I don't think my current guy would understand why in the hell do you have this guy as your friend?
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
old. I mean, he doesn't live in the state. There's no need. He's not contributing to anything in my life. So I just wanted to cut that cord.
That's probably a smart move. Let's switch gears for a second because I don't want to get to the end of the discussion and forget to talk about this. So let's move beyond the book for a second because I want to hear a little bit about you have this impress company you've
Hmm.
created, right? And as I understand it, it's a blend of creativity, entertainment, spirituality, culture, maybe. So tell me or tell us a little bit about how that intersection helps others helps you? Like, what's the goal with that company?
So the logo is for your soul's journey.
Mm.
It's all really spiritual based. So there's crystals, there's, all those wonderful things that go along with it. And it just, for me, it has helped me so much on my journey and to break apart a lot of the bullshit that's been going on, to understand it, to be able to forgive, and I mean really forgive, and to walk in my true authentic self, And so when I had all this downtime during COVID, which is how this even happened, I was like, huh. And I'm talking to people and friends, and we're all going through the same stuff. And so, yeah, I was like, why not? Let's try it, And I have found that people come to me with all kinds of problems and situations that I've probably been through, because I've been through damn near everything you can think of. But spiritually, I'm able to show them the light as to, there is a way out.
Mm. I always love to say our mess becomes our message, and I
Oh,
can
yes.
see how you can carry that because sounds like, no
Oh,
offense, there's been a few messes in your life.
oh, a
So,
few, honey. No, I don't think there's a container that can hold it of any kind. But and I'm telling you, if you heard like half of the stuff I've been through, people look at me like, and you're still sane. I'm like, am I? No, I don't know. But I have been through the gamut. Like it's not too much I haven't experienced. And thank God for my spirituality. I think that's really just my faith getting me through all of it, because the one thing I shared with you would take somebody out, right? But I have been through so many things. And I'm telling you for real, it's like people go, are you making this up? Well, I really went through that. My kids hate talking to me because I'll say, I've been through that. And they're like, of course you have. And I got a whole story. I got receipts, everything. I can show you. I really have. So,
well, you're fortunate to have the creativity to be able to use some of those experiences
yeah.
in this way. So, I mean, I can't imagine when you're, any of it, song or book, a play, all of it, being
Mhm.
able to have a very full box of experiences that you can tap into. It's
Mhm.
gotta help. It's gotta help come up with some really good
Oh yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, man, I don't even have to come up with it. I actually have to shut my brain down at night because it's just
Flowing.
and everything. And it's so crazy because either if I'm walking down the street, let's say, I can see a story, or if something happens, I can relate to the story and then create more of their story. So
Yeah.
my brain is just always on go. It's just on go, So
It's a gift, though. That's a gift.
I guess so. I mean, I'm always creating something, and I'm like, if God ever really let me out of the bag, I'd probably be a multi-billionaire. I have so much stuff, just creative stuff, just always going. And I write everything down. So I actually have a board right here with Post-its of probably 50% of the stuff that goes on up here. But I just write it down and post it up there. And some of them are checked off. I've accomplished. Some I'm getting to, some probably will never happen. I don't know. But yeah, the brain doesn't shut off. It's too much has happened to me in my life.
I love that. Well, let's talk a little bit about the advocacy work you're doing or you've done. I think one of the things that you really support is trying to end homelessness.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about how. How did that come into your view as being something that you wanted to champion? And what does that look like? What are some of the things that you're doing?
So growing up, it just never made sense to me why people are on the streets, right? And then I actually lived in Singapore for a while. They have no homeless people and their government takes care of them. I'm from Chicago originally. I moved to LA and saw Skid Row, which now is way worse than what it's ever been. Where I live now, they're just people lining up just on the streets with tents and on and on and on. I, as a person, can't just walk by and step over them and be like, man, that's their problem.
Yeah.
It's just not in me to do, especially when I know I have resources or I can come up with resources. I have a brain. So what can I do to help? That's kind of how it started. Like, what can I do? So I ended up creating Strikeout, my organization. Its premise is we have baseball games that strike out something. We raise money to strike out something. Homelessness was our first game, and it's still going because it's just never ending. It's just never ending. So right now, I've partnered with a company that they're it's so crazy because they have all this housing. They have Section 8 housing, they have affordable housing. They can't find people to get in them. So,
What? I've never heard of that.
right. Yes. Well, I can tell you a lot about that too. But anyway, so that's where I was like, well, I see all this all day, every day. I can help people. However, what I am learning is that a lot of these people don't really want the help. And that's very disheartening. That's very disheartening, or they see it. Literally before you and I got on this call, I was trying to help someone, and she's 78
Wow.
years old, homeless, been homeless for 6 years, 7 years.
Wow.
I took her to one of the units, and then all of a sudden she had all the excuses as to why she can't go there.
Mm.
To me, if I'm desperate and I want to be off the streets and I'm damn near 80, I will take anything. But this was a nice place. She just, yeah, she prefers to be in the loop. And quite a few people, I haven't gotten one person, ironically, so now I understand why. I haven't gotten one person in one of those units, not one person, because they always come up with
That's
the loop.
shocking to me.
It's very shocking. It's so sad. And now it's very stressful. And I'm trying not to be that way because there's somebody or some people out there that really want the help.
Yeah.
It's finding those people. But as a whole, I'm seeing it like, yeah, 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 I want the help. And then when you go bring them, this is how I can help you. Yeah, no, I like it like this. It's just kind of what we do.
I think it's so complicated, right? I think
Yeah,
there's certainly mentally ill people that need
definitely.
mental health help.
Hmm.
I think there's people that have addiction
Yep.
problems that need addiction help.
Yep.
I think there's people that truly don't know anything else.
Yep. I've
And
experienced all of
so,
those people. Yes.
yeah, I know I can relate to a story based on my own experience very early when I was very young. I was a young single mom. Lot of stuff happened there. So similar to you, I've seen some things. And one of the things that I took away from that was I think it goes back to what your aunt said, like when you know better, you do better. And I think for a lot of these people that grow up in the cycle, they pass that it's generational
So generational.
versus somebody that just got stuck in it due to some circumstances. They find their way out and they
Yes.
do want the help.
Yes.
So somehow I think more work has to be done to break those generational cycles because I do think, at least from what I saw, that's a lot of it. But then again, like I said, the mental health and the addiction.
Those are small portions of it. The generational situation. And my
Yeah.
daughter is a case manager at the Boys and Girls Club. And she goes, Mom, because I'm just crying to her because we have some of the same clientele.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's just like, Mom, you're not getting it. It's the entitlement. Why would they want to do anything to help themselves when the government is giving them all the stuff? They can go and get free food. They can go and get money. They can go and get all these things. It's an entitlement situation, but that goes back to the generational situation because if mom and dad have been living off the system all their lives,
Then that's what
then
they think. Yeah.
that's what it is. God
Yeah.
forbid, no, this is a way for you to start your own path. They really, when they're faced with it, they don't want that. So my thing and my son, who's 18, is very aware of all this. He was like, we got to get in the schools and get the kids. And I'm like,
He's right.
correct. That is exactly because we were talking about how we were walking and somebody just threw their trash out of the window. And he goes, what was that? I said, well, they don't know. I said, but see, when you have little kids and you say you throw your trash away, they're going to go home and take that to the parents.
Yeah.
And then when the parents throw it, Mom, you weren't supposed to do that. It'll at least
Yeah.
something. But at least we got this little soldier coming up knowing
Yeah.
not to do it. And maybe we can spread that. But that's the only way
Yeah.
portion of it is going to work. The mental health and the addictions, that's a whole different beast within
It's
itself.
so much.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's so many facets of it.
yeah.
There's so many things I mean, the systems
Ugh.
certainly need to be reformed because they put obstacles. I mean, to your point about people, or your daughter's point about them not wanting to get out of it because they're entitled. I think there's some truth to that, but I also think the systems make it so hard for them to get out.
Well,
Like
yes, absolutely.
you have to jump through so many hoops and there's so many little caveats, and it just, I think people give up.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Because I worked for a nonprofit like that. That's what they did. And, once, you have people on, let's say, food stamps, but the moment they get a job, the food stamps goes away, but they're not making enough money to put food on
exactly.
the table. So it's best to just go quit this job so that I can put food on the table. It's
100%.
a catch-22. There's no way. And I'll speak from my own experience because my ex-husband had us destitute, right? Just me and my kids. And when I went to go ask for help, they told me I needed to find a place for $388. That was the max. You tell me where I don't think you can get a cardboard box and live anywhere for $388.
Nowhere.
So fortunately, I'm me and I've moved past that, but
Yeah.
all the people that can't. So that hence why they do what
Yeah.
they do,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's just a mess
Yeah.
all the way around.
Well, I love to hear that you're with the nonprofit trying to
I'm trying.
at least make a dent where you can. And it sounds like the kids too. So you instilled some really
Yeah.
good beliefs there for them to be able to want to help in those same kind of ways. So kudos to you on
Yeah, I'm
that.
proud of them.
Good. Yeah, you should be. Good message. So talking about messages as we wind down, what's the one message? If you could only leave one, what message would you want to leave with the listener?
Keep going. No matter what, you keep going.
Mm,
And that's 1A. 1B is give yourself some grace.
yeah.
Give yourself some
Yeah.
grace because it's a bumpy ride and it's okay. It's okay. You're not alone. You're not alone. So it's a bumpy ride, but you can do it. Keep going.
Absolutely. And there's people there that'll always be willing to help if you
Absolutely.
just reach out. So
Mhm.
good message. Good message. Where can people find you and the work you're doing? Where do you want me to point them?
Officialnikkiallen.com. You can
All
find
right.
everything.
And we'll put the link in the show notes for folks as well. It's been a great time talking with you. Thank you
Thank
for taking the
you.
time today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of Message in the Middle. I hope you found something in this conversation that reminded you that you're not alone and that midlife isn't about winding down. It's about waking up. You're not done. You're just becoming. If this episode speaks to you at all, please share it with a friend who needs to hear it. And if you're enjoying the show, I'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to leave a review. It really helps other women find this community and this podcast. Until next time, take care of yourself.